It's parent conference night at Tartan, which means free admission for everybody who wants to stop by and catch some Metro East girls volleyball. Tartan and Mahtomedi play their annual regular season meeting live on SEC in a prelude to section play. Just a few days left in the regular season, so this game is a big one for both teams. I'm Mike Peden, glad you could join us on this Thursday evening. A little earlier start time than usual. That's how they handle games here in the Metro East. You've got a Tartan team that has a lot of seniors on the precipice, perhaps playing spoiler in Section 4-4A, and a Mahtomedi team that is still a force in their Section 4-3A, even with some new pieces. Taya Schlunt, the head coach, considered this a rebuilding year, but Mahtomedi at 13-7 and currently #1 based on QRF in Section 4-3A. If this is what a rebuilding year looks like, future years would give much cause for optimism. And for Tartan, they will finish in the middle of the pack in all likelihood in their section. The key for them, can they make a run in postseason play? There's Alyssa Wise. She's been at the helm for the last several years with the Tartan Titans. And we'll continue our breakdown after the Star Spangled Banner. And now they will introduce the starters. The two teams were in different trajectories a year ago. Tartan under 500, 11-18. Mahtomedi 27-5. They qualified to state for the third straight year. And as we noted, they have a good chance of doing so again. Although in Section 3, or Class 3A that is, there's Taya Schlunt, the head coach for Mahtomedi. You got to deal with some of the usual suspects. Holy Angels having a great year. Benilde St. Margaret's not too shabby. Marshall, as always, a team that can cause fits. But one mainstay, as we are looking at the pregame intro video. Again, this gym has been in operation now for a few years. This was one of the first items to be completed in the Tartan makeover. Last year, the campus got a makeover. We weren't able to cover as many games here as a result with all of the construction going on. Here's a look at the conference. This game could decide if we'll have a sole winner or a shared winner for the conference title. Mahtomedi and Tartan at the top of the pack. Both teams have already played Two Rivers, who only has one loss, at least to my knowledge. I am double checking, and yes, that is indeed the case. Tartan lost to Two Rivers in 5 sets. Mahtomedi beat Two Rivers in straight sets. So a Tartan win would put the conference up for grabs on the last day of the regular season, which is Tuesday. Tartan will go to play Seamley, and Mahtomedi will play Hill Murray. Both of those games would seem winnable. the season series, if you look at recent history, has gone a little back and forth. Tartan used to dominate, as you can see, up through the last few years, but notice the back and forth nature between the two schools. When Mahtomedi started their run of 3 straight section championships, again, they're a 3A school, Tartan in 4A. A couple years ago, it took 5 sets to decide it. Last year, Mahtomedi won in straight sets. Only time will tell what will happen in this edition, and this will be the one and only time these two teams meet because they're in different classes, therefore cannot play each other in section or state tournament competition. Here's a look at the starters, and you may not see it. It's on the bench. During warm-ups, I noticed several t-shirts that had amusing sayings on them. The super fans helped determine a theme, and tonight was White Lie Night, so all the Tartan players wore shirts that carried certain embellishments about the players, including the freshman libero, McKenna Zhang. Her shirt says, "I am a senior," which will be true in 3 years' time. And then she'll have to find another exaggeration. Mahtomedi, they've got a busy weekend. They will take part in the Dig Pig Invite as they did a year ago at Benilde St. Margaret's. The 4 captains, they've been around for the last 3 years. Taya Schlunt likes to promote the culture of expectations. There's Sehar Rameli, one of the 4 captains. Claire Crothers, Louisa Ternowski, and Katie Hergenrader are the others. For Tartan, Harper Henry and Anna Wilkie are going to be 2 players to watch. They haven't been as explosive as some of the top hitters in the state, but they do lead the team in attacks and kills. They're the only 2 that have over 100. There's Anna Hines on the Mahtomedi side. She's the freshman setter. And Margot Kiley. They're all ready to go. Tartan will serve first. And as we said, even though it's a rebuilding year, Mahtomedi is still a favorite to get out of the section. Of course, after that, we'll have to see what happens in 3A, but right now we're going to see Tartan start things up with an ace from Anna Wilkie. I take that back, that wasn't Wilkie, that was Abby Skryan, the senior setter. Mahtomedi able to pick up this serve. Nearly get the teardrop to fall, Tartan saves it. Mahtomedi will try again as they go to the left side, and Tartan can't save this one. No, they did. Mahtomedi flummoxed by Tartan's defense in the early going. They'll try again from the pin. This time, the off-speed hit falls for Louisa Ternowski. They do not count a block or deflection on a block as one of the 3 touches you get on a set, but that one was tipped by Brooklyn Johnson, and Tartan not able to recover in time. But as you know, when you play up to 25, long way to go. Pass to the pin again, and Mahtomedi scores from the left side a second time. That's Sehar Rameli. As we said for the Zephyrs, Taya Schlund called this a rebuilding year, but I think anyone would take a rebuilding year where you are favorites to get out of the section. Tartan cross-court shot. Dig by Ternowski. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night, says Rameli. Her second kill, unofficially, in the early going. Delano and Marshall, the 2 teams to watch in Class 3A, as Tartan overshoots the mark, hitting error on Johnson. That will make it 4-1. So winning state might be a taller hill to climb for the Zephyrs, who did make it into the Consolation Championship last year in state. The block by Kylie, the sophomore. And Taya Schlund told me, if you like what you see out of this team, wait until some of the new faces get a little more experience. Tartan gets one back. Harper Henry, one of the two faces to watch on the attack. Alyssa Wise says she and Wilkie have given Abby Scryan plenty of options up front. Tartan runs a 5-1, and I know that because they post their stats online. Scryan gets most of the assists. That is out of bounds, hitting error on Kylie. Henry remains on serve. That looked short from the moment of release in our first service error. Coming in, Scryan, 381 assists, averaging just under 8 a set. Mahtomedi serves up an ace from Kylie. Their first of the game. Four freshmen and an 8th grader are on the Mahtomedi varsity roster. And for Tartan, the players you see on the floor are the ones who will see most of the action as we get a line shot that falls for a point from Anna Wilkie. Alyssa Wise said this group, a good bunch of all-around talents, so they don't have to sub too much. Mahtomedi, with all of the talent that graduated a year ago, they've had to experiment, tinker with their rotations, their lineups a little more. But more often than not, they have found success. Stella Bossert, one of the freshmen, paints it just inside the line. Just over the reach of McKenna Jean. Line drive and some pinballing. Now Tartan able to regather. Mahtomedi with a good chance here. Blocked. Point Titans. Shelby Johnson and Brooklyn Johnson were involved on the coverage. The replay might tell us who got the block. It was Brooklyn Johnson all by herself. Sometimes they'll give an assist to the other player up front, but a point is a point. And now Shelby Johnson takes a turn. As you saw how the teams have fared against groups over 500. (8-6) from the middle into the net. Shelby Johnson charged with the error. And we've got a good vantage point. Mahtomedi just outside. Anna Wilkie now serving. No college commitments among the seniors for either side. They're still sorting through their options. Off-speed tap, now our first setter dump, and Tartan pulls off the trick play beautifully. Scryan with the first kill. Wilkie too hard. So far, a close start, not a whole lot of separation. Mahtomedi gets a point on serve from the libero, Claire Crothers. Second ace for the Zephyrs. Scryan to Johnson, Shelby Johnson that is, and that's the second time Shelby has come up short. First, I should say second on the attack. She also had a serve that came up short. Zephyrs building an advantage here, another ace on the line drive serve by Crothers. Third ace for the Zephyrs. They lead by 5. Crothers again. Nearly got another ace. Tartan able to recover. Free ball for the Zephyrs. They'll go to the pin. 4 in a row. Louisa Tarnowski lands her second kill. Tartan will take a timeout. 14-8 is the score. In the first of a possible 5 sets, as you know, regular season games, best of 5. Here's another look, and Mahtomedi making the left side work. You can only see a glimpse of it from our vantage point, but had a chance to check out the renovated Tartan campus with this being parent conference night. A lot of activity going on, and the school practically unrecognizable from the last time I entered this building. The old gym where we used to cover games is now the cafeteria. This is the new gym that, again, has been in operation for a few years now, but they don't have any more construction barriers to go around. Now it's the South Washington County schools you've got to work around as the 3 schools in that district expand. Tartan trying to rally back, and that could help. Harper Henry with a tap down the left side. Shelby Johnson at 6'2", the tallest figure for the Titans. Mahtomedi going to the left side again and squeezing it down is Margot Kiley. The left side, or also known as the outside spot on the rotation, turning into a sweet spot for Mahtomedi. A lot of their points have come from there. Long ace. I should have said long serve, but it turned out my premonition was correct. On that note, I'm going to play the lottery. No, I'm kidding. That's the 4th ace, though, for Mahtomedi, and the first for Katie Hergenrader. And a chance to visit her father before the game. One of the many followers I sometimes forget I have, with this being my 20th year of broadcasting. Mahtomedi picks up another point on the hitting error by Harper Henry. And the Zephyrs taking control in this first set. A 7-1 run. Hergenrader, that was high. Tartan bats it over to the outside spot again. Scryan tries to set her up. Mahtomedi reads it this time. Second attempt from Tarnowski. Dug once more. Tartan tried to find no woman's land. Tarnowski getting several cracks at this. Tartan racking up the digs. Now they go to the right side, and Anna Hines just whiffed it. It happens to the best of us, though. Hergenrader caught up to it, and Mahtomedi gets a point thanks to a quick dose of improvisation. They had to catch up to that ball. As Tarnowski scored, Hergenrader had to bring it back. But sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. 18-10. Hergenrader with the dig. Oh no, a collision. Hines and Tarnowski, communication, crucial in any team sport, but in volleyball especially so, because otherwise you can create your own traffic jam, as we just saw. Mahtomedi still has a sizable lead though. To the middle goes Mahtomedi. The dig goes back to their side. Another line drive, tap down. Anna Hines. Those overpasses. Perfect pouncing opportunities for your front row players. Anna Hines, the freshman. 19-11. Brooklyn Johnson on the attempt. Mahtomedi getting more comfortable on the attack. This one will go to Romeli. And the Zephyrs look like they will capture set one without much difficulty. It was 10-8. Kylie serves it out of bounds. A 7-1 run after that. Build a degree of separation or two for the Zephyrs. Hergenrader behind the back pass. Big save by Hines. I guess technically we call that a dig, but big defensive play. Mahtomedi can't save it a second time. And Anna Wilkie feeling it. It's been a while since Tartan was able to line up and attack successfully. Mahtomedi does have the edge in kills unofficially. And if you aren't familiar with my volleyball coverage, you'll hear that a lot. As that shot from Stella Bossert, another freshman from Mahtomedi, nearly went off the face of a Tartan player. I do keep track of kills, errors, aces, but I say unofficial because when that ball is zipping as quickly as it does, you can't always see everything, but got a pretty good look on that ace. Mahtomedi using the service game to build up an impressive performance in the first set. Anna Hines logs her first ace of the game. 5 aces for the Zephyrs in set one, as they are likely going to take the first set in a runaway fashion. Again, if they win tonight, they will capture the Metro East Conference, which in a rebuilding year would say a lot about the culture of expectations that Taya Schlund has sought to impose on Mahtomedi, and what she sees in the 4 captains who have been together for 3 years. A sense of leadership, accountability, intensity, and performance in the classroom. It's getting the group to understand that you're here to do more than just play volleyball. There's a mission to better your leadership skills, your maturity, your wisdom. And it doesn't help to have a pedigree. Remember, Mahtomedi, they've made state the last 3 years. And when you see your predecessors reach the big time, you want to be a part of that. As we return to action. Romeli got it. Her 4th kill of the first set. It was a tight start, but Mahtomedi running away with it here in the first set. Of course, that may not mean a whole lot in later sets. We have seen teams take a beating in one set, only to bounce back in a later one. And this is where getting a run if you're Tartan would be a huge help in that objective. Shelby Johnson squeezing it down the middle. If you can get on a run, give yourself a little momentum, that can carry over. You're probably not going to win this set unless you go on a big run here, but even if you can shrink that margin a bit, as Shelby Johnson is doing with back-to-back points. Third block for the Titans that lands for a point. It gives you something to build on. Ergen Raider going for the setter dump over her head. Tartan able to read it. Now Ergen Raider goes to the back row. That may have been a blessing in disguise for Mahtomedi. From the looks of it, it will be a kill for Tarnowski. But take a second look here. It went off the net. A Tartan player, Scotty Berglund, tried to play it when it looked like it was hanging out. And Mahtomedi serves up one more ace to close out the first set. 25-15, the Zephyrs flying high as they take the opening set.
I never realized that I'd be taking care of a 2-year-old and a 9-year-old on my own. Sometimes as dads, I think we're too hard on ourselves. We get down on ourselves on not being able to, we're the providers, but we also have to learn to take care of ourselves. Self-love made me a better dad because I realized my worth. My daughter Isabella recently had a graduation into high school, and I got emotional because I saw pride in her eyes. I saw my daughter have her own self-love, and I saw the hard work of me being that dad 24/7 transferred to my teenage daughter. The word father means a lot to me. When I give my love to my children as a father, I can see it.
Sit up, team. When I look around this room, I see a fighting team of brave antibodies. But the flu is coming in strong. The good news is, Anthony, the human we're tasked to protect, just got his flu shot, which supplied us with strong new gear to defend against the flu. So let's go fight for Anthony. Are you with me?
Let's work as a team to defend against the flu. Gear up with a flu shot to help protect others and reduce your risk of being sick or hospitalized with the flu. Learn more at getmyflushot.org.
Mahtomedi's offense brimming with pinpoint precision in the first set, 25-15. Unofficially 12 kills, 6 aces for the Zephyrs. Respectively, Tartan had 6 kills and 1 ace. You put those numbers together, and that provides a ticket to Mahtomedi taking the first set with ease. It was close early on, then a 7-1 run shifted the story in Mahtomedi's direction. The left side was their strong spot for a while, but the service game has been the most impressive aspect of Mahtomedi's performance, at least in the first set. We do get a setter dump from Tartan setter Abby Skryan. But Mahtomedi really locked in, dialed in after the midway point of the first set. There's a tap down off the overpass from Hines. We are getting ready to start the second set. Sahar Rameli unofficially 4 kills and 1 ace. Too hot to handle in that first set, but set number 2 is underway. Ergen Raider goes into the setter position. And it will begin with a point for the Zephyrs. Kylie scoring from the middle. Jackson. Attack was picked up. Tarnowski, cross-court shot, finds the corner. And Mahtomedi not slowing down in the slightest. Another great chance for the Zephyrs, as Tartan was caught a little flat-footed. From the left side, Romeli couldn't read it. So Harper Henry will get credit for the point. Romeli couldn't track the ball after the Hergen Raider up. You'll see it here. Watch Romeli. She went left, then tried to go right. Ball went over her head, and that can sometimes be the toughest to judge. Harper Henry bumps that into the net. Perhaps the most impressive part about Mahtomedi's service game on cue, that's their 7th ace, first in the second set, and the first for Tarnowski. 7 aces, just 2 service errors. That's a good percentage. Henry pounds that into the net, and Tartan off to a slow start. They can ill afford a big hole here against the team that is leading the Metro East and would clinch it altogether with a victory. In all likelihood, another hitting error, this one on Johnson. And Tartan will take a timeout as they look all out of sorts at the moment. Mahtomedi up 6-1. As you saw in pregame, Two Rivers theoretically could tie Mahtomedi, and again, they have co-champions. They don't have any tiebreakers, but it does leave you wondering if this is what a rebuilding year looks like. Could Mahtomedi take that next step forward and challenge some of the perennials in Class 3A? Marshall and Delano, the Tigers, both sets of them have done some incredible things in recent years. Marshall won 3 in a row. Last year, Alexandria came up with the state championship. And for Tartan, they were able to play Stillwater close. That will likely be the toughest opponent for 4A, but like for 3A, the favorites not in that section. Lakeville South and Chanhassen, the teams to watch in 4A. Right now, we've got a lot to watch here. Romeli with the two-handed tap. Tartan reads it. Off the net and off of Mahtomedi. Point for Anna Wilkie. That's the best angle we have. Mahtomedi with another line drive, this one from Kylie. Kylie back in the service position. Tarnowski under it, Hergen Raider. To the freshman, Stella Bossert. She had a couple of kills in the first set. Picks up her first one here. Out of bounds, so a service error on Kylie. Tartan has a couple of games remaining in their regular season. And for Mahtomedi, this is going to be part of their final weekend marathon. They have the Big Pink invite, the last weekend tournament, service error on Scotty Berglund. Then they play Spring Lake Park and Simley to wrap up or Hill Murray, I should say, to wrap up the regular season. Rameli down the middle. And once again, Mahtomedi flexing their power from the outside position. The Zephyrs playing at an unreal level right now as Anna Hines got that serve off a Tartan player and down for an ace, her second. Couple of Mahtomedi's freshmen playing integral roles. Back-to-back aces for Anna Hines. Mahtomedi running laps around the field right now. Hines, another great serve, 3 in a row. Anna Hines might want to consider taking a poker. 3 aces in a row. And the Zephyrs lead 13-3. Tartan tries to set her dump. Rameli outside. Send it out. That will end the run, but I don't think you could ask for much more out of Mahtomedi. Their offense is locked in, focused. You're going to have mistakes from time to time, but just some impressive beats of precision, at least up to this point. Tartan wins that net ball. And this is what you want if you're the Titans. You got to get a few points back at a time. The Titans have found themselves staring at giant holes. But they scored 3 in a row following that ace from Anna Wilkie. 13-6 is the margin. Henry, Johnson, and Wilkie all had over 30 aces coming into this match. In the middle, Tarnowski on the attack. Shelby Johnson with the tip. Tarnowski one more time. I thought I saw a smoke trail, because she put some heat on those swings. You do not want to be in the wrong end of one of those attacks. Hergenrader to Tarnowski, this time in the outside spot. And she rockets another kill for the Mahtomedi side. Tarnowski, unofficially 7 kills and an ace. Tartan stuck in the back row, and they'll get the kill anyway. Brothers not able to play it. Harper Henry scores for the Titans. But this game has been all Mahtomedi. Tartan, they really need a rally, a big one, to get themselves emotionally back in contention. Bossert has other ideas. The mix of freshmen and seniors, and a few others from Mahtomedi, they're coming together well. Hergenrader cross court. Now it's Brothers who sets for Tarnowski. Tartan just does not have an answer, a remedy, an antidote of any kind to contain the outside position. Mahtomedi inflicting a lot of damage from that spot on the floor. Hergenrader. That pass went into the net. point will go to Tartan. Scryan. Too short. And I've been saying that a few times about Tartan's service game. They have 5 service errors and 2 aces. Mahtomedi, 3 service errors, 10 aces. I'll let you do the math. Did Mahtomedi cross? Yes. Riley went over the center line. And the Tartan superfans reminding everyone that the center line cannot be crossed. Raider to Tarnowski, this time from the middle. And Raider will try again. Going to Anna Hines. Another scramble. Tartan wins that battle. Sienna Jackson, the senior. (18-10). Point Mahtomedi. Tartan bumped into the net, so that will take away a kill from Tarnowski, but either way, Mahtomedi was going to get the point, as you saw on the play. It looked like much contact with the net, but Mahtomedi was going to score one way or the other. Bergen Raider gets under it in time for Rameli. That did not cross. Possibly could have. I didn't see the 4 touches signal, but either way, it's an error on the Titans. On the misfire from Anna Wilkie. Lift call? Yes. Timeout Tartan. Mahtomedi up big. 21-10 in a replay of the first set, effectively. Here's a look at the last play. You'll see the lift on Jackson. When you make contact with the ball, you can't carry it in any capacity. You got to let it go as soon as you touch it. A rough showing for the Titans in what has been a solid year, 13-11. They did struggle at their host tournament, the Wally Wakefield Invitational. Didn't win a game, lost all of those in straight sets. Had a good showing though against Stillwater, kept that close, even though they lost in straight sets there. The question for the Titans, looking ahead, can they pick up wins against the teams they need to beat to enter the conversation? Sienna Jackson, that should recharge the emotional batteries, at least for a moment. We've got Glazer in at center now. She'll get some reps. Rameli. Tartan keeps it alive. Tarnowski just out of bounds. Only the second hitting error of the set for Mahtomedi. Like we said before, Tartan, they just have to find a rally, get a few points together. Mahtomedi has not allowed them to orchestrate a large run. But they do score 3 in a row after the timeout. That last one coming, I believe, from Scryan. Four in a row. The first ace for McKenna Zhang, who took over at libero as Abby Scryan was moved from that position to setter. Alyssa Wise says McKenna doing a fantastic job as a freshman. That was touched by Mahtomedi. It's a point for Anna Wilkie. And Tartan inching closer, 21-15. 5 in a row, Zhang nearly had an ace. But they do get their 6th consecutive point on the tip by Shelby Johnson. This is what we're talking about. Get yourself on a run. Mahtomedi will hang on to their timeouts. Rameli gets one back. On the off-speed tap. That's one benefit of going up by as much as 11. You have a lot of breathing room. But that 6-0 run might ignite a spark for Tartan. Time will tell. But they're feeling a lot more jubilant following the score from Shelby Johnson. Tartan's attacking game picking up steam. That's really what this run has come down to. 22-17. Rameli scores again. And I've noticed, here comes Hergenrader. She will rotate back in for Glazer. We'll see if that helps Mahtomedi, because this Tartan run came when Glazer was the setter. I'm not saying that's the only reason. But let's see how Mahtomedi closes out. Pancake by Crothers keeps the ball alive. Mahtomedi just 2 away from taking the set, so they have that going for them. But Shelby Johnson isn't ready to give up on this set yet. And if Tartan can get a couple more points here, that would make Mahtomedi squirm, I suspect. Wilkie. Crothers had to backpedal. And it goes off the ceiling and down. Timeout, Mahtomedi. Tartan trailed by 11, 21-10. A 9-2 run has put this set within reach. But on that last play for Mahtomedi, Tartan does have a higher clearance than some other gyms. Nevertheless, if a ball takes a high carom and goes into the ceiling, mayhem ensues. It's not unlike the Plinko chips when they bounce along the pegs, down the board, and you can see what that does to stump our camera crew. Once a ball goes up there. We saw this at the White Bear Lake Moundsview game on September 30th, and at other gyms that have low clearances. Tartan line drive. Mahtomedi responds in time. Hergenrader to Rameli. Mahtomedi, they just want to get out of here and get this set over with as quickly as possible. They have 5 set points, but they had to work for it a little more than anticipated, and Rameli closed out the first set with an ace. She closes out the second set, jamming Tartan on serve. And despite a scare, Mahtomedi takes a 2-0 lead, 25-19 in set 2, one away from a victory that would assure them at least a share of the Metro East Conference title.
Some people judge a book by its cover, and if you're not what people are looking for, you're kind of like a reject.
At school, it feels like everyone's staring at me and I'm just kind of not really a person.
Sometimes I can't believe that you could be proud of me if I'm not proud of myself.
It just was hard today. Nobody was listening to me.
Think of our best times together. Let's do more of that.
Try to understand me more, and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at sounditouttogether.org.
The bravest person I know is my daughter, Cynthia.
My friend Sean, and he was in the Air Force.
One of the bravest things he ever did wasn't when he first enlisted, it was when he found his first support group.
It was when he asked to move in with me and my mom.
I felt like I was lost, and you gave me a place to stay.
She went on foreign soil. She went to war. But the bravest thing she did is when she asked for help.
Don't worry, that's just the beanball toss that the Tartan students are picking up. Those objects were supposed to be on the court, but they will be cleared in time to start set number 3. Mahtomedi took the second set 25-19, but Tartan did get within 4, scoring 6 in a row after trailing by 11 to make this interesting, as we'll just have to tell you some of the highlights that happened. Mahtomedi, their attacking game remained a strong point. 12 kills, their service game 5 aces unofficially. Tartan had 10 kills in the second set and 2 aces. So Mahtomedi still able to outclass them overall on the attack. How much will that late run influence this third set? Tartan, of course, would have to win it to extend the game. As you saw, Mahtomedi absolutely shining from the outside position. And then Rameli came in there to clean things up. Unofficially, 8 kills and a couple of aces for one of the senior captains. As we said before, none of the seniors have committed to a college yet. The Mahtomedi, they've got experience and history on their side, 3 straight section championships. A win here, and Mahtomedi would be practically assured of another Metro East Conference title. I say that because Two Rivers has 1 loss, and we don't know the result of their game either tonight or Tuesday. So it is possible that the conference could still be up for grabs. But they have taken the flag position, hitting error on the Titans and Harper Henry. They've assumed the point position after North St. Paul had some successful years in the late 2010s. You may recall they made it all the way to the state semis back in 2019, the last year We had a tournament in the 3-class era, hitting air on Sienna Jackson. There was no tournament in 2020. 21 was the first year expanding to 4 classes. Tartan wins that net ball, and Harper Henry collects the kill. But her activity has come a little too few and far between based on the number of kills she has recorded. Moves back to the service position. Romeli bumped into the net. She can't believe it, but I saw the net move. Romeli a little apoplectic. And you saw what happened on the right side of your screen. Still early though. That was in the line, so a point for Tartan. Inside the line, I should say, on the line. As long as it's inside, it counts. Another net ball won by the Titans, and they take a lead, first time in a while, and it's still early, but maybe that carries some significance. Morgan Raider to Romeli, that combination working out to great success. One of several combinations that have done so. Romeli and Tarnowski both have taken turns scoring from the outside. Jackson again from the middle. Didn't record a kill in the first set, had a couple in the second set. Raider to Romeli again, inside. Or was it? One of the line judges said it was out, but that angle tells me it was in. That was out. Service errors have not been a giant issue for Mahtomedi. That's just their 4th. Both teams still trading points right now. Morgan Raider to Romeli. Tartan gets under it this time. If Tartan has any chance, they will score off the deflection. And a Wilkie credited with the kill, but if Tartan really wants to make a run at Mahtomedi, they have to contain that outside spot more effectively. And based on that replay, the ball may have just gotten a piece of Tarnowski. Tartan on a run. That is Eva Ebenhawk, the freshman. No, that's Skryan. I stand corrected. Either way, that was a big point, and then Skryan serves it out of bounds, so that muffs a potential rally for Tartan, at least for the moment. Mahtomedi catches up to the play. The set went over. And Raider found one of her go-tos, Tarnowski. Romeli got Zhang to backpedal on the serve receive. Off speed to Tarnowski. And that ties it up at 7. Romeli, that brushed the net, but we play on. Bossert from the middle. Wilkie bumps it into the net. And the early optimism Tartan established, they were up 7-4, maybe fading. 5 in a row for the Zephyrs, make it 6 in a row. As Romeli does a little dance to celebrate her 3rd ace of the game. Romeli, one of the leaders on this Mahtomedi team. And Tartan can't catch up to that serve either. 7 straight points for the Zephyrs. Tartan was up 7-4, and for a brief moment, it appeared Tartan had found a pathway to make a challenge. Of course, they're not out of this yet. But the tide shifting back in Mahtomedi's favor. That's why it's important for folks like Anna Wilkie, one of those all-around attackers. She and Henry, can those two step things up? Jackson has come up with a few plays as well. And one thing you can't afford, you get a big emphatic point and then give it back on a service error. Because remember, Mahtomedi, if they take this set, that's ball game. Play at the net. Free ball coming for the Zephyrs. Scryan to Shelby Johnson on the cut. Nice little curl route on the part of Johnson. Able to trick Mahtomedi long enough to put it in no woman's land. Ergen Raider to Tarnowski. Tarnowski and Romeli pacing the attack for the Zephyrs, and Hergenrader, you can tell, holds a lot of confidence as she goes back to serve. When one of those two takes the outside position, Henry hits it too hard. And Mahtomedi, after trailing 7-4, appearing to take command now. A 10-2 run since they trail by 3. Ergen Raider this time goes to the right side, where Anna Hines was waiting. Hines listed as a setter, but played an attacking role there, and that's not entirely unusual. Jackson not touched. Hitting error on the Titans. They'll take a timeout. A 12-2 run for Mahtomedi, and it's looking more and more like this will be a quick straight set ordeal. But that point by Hines, the last attack, we'll see a replay of the misfire on Jackson. Just put a little too much zip, a little too much mustard on it. But it's not unusual for setters to take on attacking responsibilities, whether it's club or high school ball. Over at North St. Paul years ago, Lauren Stemman, she was one of the front row players on her high school team, but at Lewis University and on her club team, she played more of a setter. So for someone like Hines, who got that last kill from Mahtomedi, it's possible to do both, to set up the offense and create it yourself, as we got a look at the two huddles. This game may not indicate the trend for Tartan. Alyssa Wise feeling like this year has been a standout season. Compared to where they were a year ago, they have made some progress. But a team like Mahtomedi, who has dominated the conference, sometimes reminds you of the path that lies ahead. Henry with that hitting error makes it 6 for the Titans. 6 hitting errors. That's a lot of points to give up to your opponent. She gets one back off the deflection. Remember, Tartan was up 7-4. Then the bottom seemingly fell out. A 12-2 run. Both teams have traded points following the timeout. And Tartan, with one remaining, I believe. That's Nora Boniface-Johnson who's entering the game for the first time. Tried to go cross court, couldn't put it in play. Reagan Rader to Ternowski. She'll score as Arena Coam and Abby Skryan collided. Ternowski, 12 kills unofficially. 1 ace and now 1 service error. Tartan, they got to take this set to stay in the game. Mahtomedi, you take this set and the conference title is practically yours. Whistle before the attack. Tartan made contact with the net, so that takes away a kill from Rameli, and tough to tell when the camera's moving like that. That's not the fault of our camera crew. We can only slow down time so much. Either way, Mahtomedi looked like they had that point secured. Coam with the tap. And Mahtomedi couldn't catch up to it in time. Coam, one of the many seniors who will be honored, I presume, after the game. I saw some custom volleyballs, some cake, some peanuts, I think. And we'll be ready for the players after this game on Parent Conference night. Boniface-Johnson collects her first kill. Again, this is part of a marathon stretch for Mahtomedi before sections begin. They'll have the Dig Pink invite on Saturday. That's a one-day tournament. They played the condensed games, of course, but it's still a lot of volleyball as Boniface-Johnson serves up an ace into the back row. The 13th for the Zephyrs. Timeout, Tartan, but Mahtomedi in control from the start. A hiccup here and there, but overall, few impediments against a conference rival. And the Zephyrs would need to knock off Hill Murray to make another undefeated run in conference play with a group that was a little more untested. Again, 4 freshmen and an 8th grader, and a few seniors who graduated from last year's section championship team. And remember that game? We had it for you on SEC. One of 2 crews that night, and Mahtomedi won in straight sets. You have to think they will be the favorites, and not just because they have the 1 seed according to QRF, but next closest, I think, Chisago Lakes Hill Murray. I'm not sure can hang with them, but only time will tell, because when you get to sections, it's a whole different beast. And a Wilkie scores in the cut, but there may not be enough time for Tartan, who are out of timeouts. When you go against a foe that has turned the tide on you, as Hergenrader wins that battle up front for her first kill. Usually she's the one racking up assists. And in volleyball, more than a few teams don't have their stats available on Strip Varsity, what used to be the Hubs now, but I think it's clear Hergenrader is the setup woman. Bossert taps down the overpass on the serve receive. And Mahtomedi 2 points away. Mahtomedi started the year losing in straight sets to Cretin-Durham Hall, who are playing as we get a point for Scryan. But Tartan will need another big rally. Cretin-Durham Hall playing Eastridge right now for first place in the Suburban East. Notably, they did get a split on Holy Angels at the Chisago Lakes Volleyball Invitational. Holy Angels, one of the top 10 teams in 3A. That may be the most telling result that could signal Mahtomedi's potential. As Hergenrader goes to Ternowski, went off the net, over to the Tartan side. A block for Bossert. Holy Angels, number 6, so Mahtomedi already has a quality win on the resume. They might pick up a few more on Saturday. They'll get another block to cap off a dominant straight set victory over the Tartan Titans to clinch at least a share of the Metro East Conference title. And they would have a chance to secure it outright on Tuesday with the win over Hill Murray. That will cap off a marathon stretch for the Zephyrs. Again, the Date Pink invite on Saturday, Spring Lake Park on Monday, Hill Murray on Tuesday. All around, a fantastic game for the Zephyrs. Tarnowski and Rameli pacing the offense. The service game saw a lot of activity in the first couple of sets, including 3 in a row from Margot Kiley, 3 aces in a row, that is. Mahtomedi just played a complete game, and Tartan just didn't have enough answers, especially from the outside position. Games go like that sometimes as we look at the highlights from the third set. Tartan was up 7-4. Mahtomedi goes on a big run to take care of this in runaway fashion. This is a rebuilding year, folks, for the Zephyrs, or at least that's what I was told. But sometimes what looks like a rebuild is more like a reload. And you have to think Mahtomedi dominating the Metro East again, getting that quality win over Holy Angels with a few games left, could put them in a spot to perhaps make some noise if they can make a deep postseason run. But that won't be decided for a few more weeks. Mahtomedi stays undefeated in Metro East play. and earns their third straight win. 25-15, 25-19, and 25-15. Tartan goes to 13-12, but they've got one more with Simley before 4-4A section action begins. Join us tomorrow for high school football at 7 o'clock on SEC. Until then, this is Mike Peden thanking you for watching live coverage of high school girls volleyball on SEC Sports. We'll see you next time.